So we're going to finish off the electronics, installing them. So we need to install the receiver box. Here's the receiver box. If you look at the receiver box, it's a mirror image. It doesn't matter. It's going to mount to these two holes, and these here are the lower ones. So this will go in here, and you're going to be needing the 2.5 screws. So just the CS screws, and those are 8mm. They should be these little guys right here. So if yep, that is it. Just gonna set them both in there. You're still working with a 2mm driver, which is something I do like. Now, one of the things that you will need to do is you're going to need to clean the inside with just some rubbing alcohol, because the receiver will be stuck on there with simply double-sided tape. So we are going to go through that process. All right, that is it. The receiver is going to be in your electronics box. Here's the receiver. So the receiver, just need to clean the back. We're going to use this tape, or you can use any other tape. If you have 3M tape, for example, you can use that. Alcohol, any rubbing alcohol will work. Here I'm just using 70% isopropyl alcohol, just that. And when you rub, make sure it's on a circular pattern. And the excess will evaporate. It evaporates quite quickly. But you can always wipe off with a clean side of your towel. And I'm going to go ahead to remove part of the backing. And I will simply line this up. And this Traxxas tape is very good for the receiver. It's nice, glues on well, and it's easy to remove when you have to remove it. So this being said and done, mounting it, the light is going to go toward the rear, and this is going to go toward the front. And so if you notice here, there's a smooth area. That's where the receiver goes. So the receiver goes here on the smooth area, and then you just press it on, and that is it. So now at this point we will be needing this top part. This top part, still have some alcohol on your towel, just clean that little section there. And there's this small piece of foam. So out of the two foams, it'll be the smaller foam. The smaller foam will go in here. And this foam is what helps seal your receiver box. So make sure that it sits properly. All right, there we go. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put this little stripping in here. Now, one of the things, you're going to be putting some of that silicone grease here. You could put some there, but you really don't need to. Now this is going to be facing the rear because everything is going to come out out of the rear of the vehicle. If you notice the smaller gap here, that's where the antenna will exit. So the antenna will exit through there. Really don't see the point of having so much of the antenna exposed, to be honest. Let's see. All right. This I'll actually run through underneath the ESC, just makes it neater. Then I'll run it through here and in here. Now, one of the things to note, your ESC will go into channel 2. Now, the TQ systems, the first two are generally channel 1, so make sure you install this one, your ESC, on the third one. Now, your servo does not matter if you install it on the first or second. I will install it on the second, it's just easier, so later on, if I add accessories, I'm not going to, I can use channel 1. That is it. So here, I'm just gonna loop this. I generally just twist and create little loops and then loop it like this. And then I just fit it here on the side of the box, right in there. And then I just seat this on. And then I just hold it like this. And then I play with the wires because you need a certain amount of slack so that the wires fit in here properly. So there's the ESC, there is that would be perfect. And the antenna, can I put some more of this? I am gonna stick more of this wire in there. But now I'm gonna use the screws here, and it should be those 2.5, those small little screws, but it's not. These are actually gonna hold the cover. So now I just got a screw in there for no reason, so it must be these larger ones. Let me actually look at the instructions manual, and there we go. Oh, so it is the 3mm. So you're gonna use the other ones, the slightly larger 3mm, slightly larger, they're a lot larger. 3mm by 10. These are 2.5. And I shall seal the receiver box. And the reason why I've kept my thumb here is because I don't want the top cover to move and shift, and then that blue weather stripping, a little gasket, to shift and then not sealed properly. That's the reason why. The only reason why the electronics are waterproof, as Traxxas will advertise, is because of this receiver box. All right, and on the actual receiver, one of the reasons why you want it the light facing back is because of that little window there. That's the reason why. All right, everything looks good so far. I will go ahead and stick some of this antenna in there. If I can, should have done it beforehand. Let's see. Well, I guess I should not because I still need quite a bit of antenna to go over here. This is the antenna tube. You really don't need such a large antenna. Not with modern vehicles. Back in the day, you certainly needed a really long antenna. But now the antennas, they can be short. And that is good enough. So if I hold that, then I can let go as if nothing had happened, and I'll take the top of the receiver box. So this little cover will get this piece of foam right in here. So make sure that you install the foam. There. Right. And the silicone grease is just to help with the waterproofing. It just creates a barrier for the little tiny gaps so that water doesn't seep through. So just going to dab some on here. And I don't really need any there, but just for fun. All right, so now this is the point where I hold the wires. So I'm going to hold all the wires in place right in there. And the reason why, once I put that cover, I do not want the cover hitting the wires and fraying them. That is the reason why. All right, here we go. And that is it. So now I can get those 2.5 by 6. And it should be a 2mm driver. And I'm almost finished. And that's it. Do not over tighten, there's no need. There's certainly no need to over tighten. And this antenna tube is massive, but that's the way it is. If you do decide to cut the antenna tube, I mean, you can go ahead and cut it. It's not a big deal. Just make sure not to cut the antenna. So I will not be cutting it. Well, I mean, if you wanted to, just take the antenna out, measure here, and then cut there. Because if you put this inside, you may not see this piece of the wire, then you may accidentally cut the antenna. But I will leave it. All right, and that one little set screw. So you have a set screw without thread lock compound. That's the one you want to use. It's a 1.5mm driver. And that's going to go in the hole behind the antenna tube because that's going to hold the antenna tube so that it doesn't bounce out of the slot. And just drive it in. Do not over tighten. To be honest, once it's flush, that's all you need. Don't drive it any farther down. Here we go. So at this point, you can go ahead and cap this off. And I do have quite a bit of antenna tube, excess antenna. The only reason why I'm leaving it is once I put the body, it's easier to bend down a longer antenna tube than a shorter one. That's the reason why. I could cut it, but then it doesn't bend as easily once I put the body on. That's the reason behind me keeping this long tube. All right, I will continue with the rest of the build on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment below, subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you on the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My car! My rod!